experiences. So this one that I'm talking about is probably the most introspective shroom experience I've ever had. I've done shrooms probably like, I don't know, 5 to 10 times in my life. Usually they were among friends and it was like a smaller dose, probably like, I haven't done it in so long that I honestly don't even remember the amount, but it was a small amount, usually with friends, where that's a situation where you're like a little bit more than like high on weed, so you're like laughing at everything, you're thinking everything is like hilarious. It's a good time, but usually that doesn't really bring you any insight. And so I remember being in the situation of my life where I was going through a lot of stuff with people, like getting so much negativity from people. And I remember being like, I want answers. Like, I want to know like what this world is about. Like, I need to know things, And so I was searching, and I remember like stumbling upon lots of philosophers, lots of people that talk about things like this. And then one of the people was obviously Terrence McKenna. I started getting into a lot of stuff that he was saying about how do shrooms by yourself. He says in dark, I did not do it in dark, but do it by yourself and yada yada yada. Go search Terrence McKenna if you're interested in that. But so I was super interested in doing that. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it not with anyone, because every time I did it with anybody else, like my friends, a boyfriend, sometimes it was fun, but I never was able to really like let go of whatever, maybe the ego, and fully experience like that insight. I feel like I have to be alone to experience that sort of insight from shrooms or any psychedelic. So what I did was, I did it by myself. Obviously what you do when you are preparing for like some sort of trip is, make sure your place is very clean, very, very clean. If you're a clean freak or whatever, because that's one of the first things that you will notice when the shrooms start kicking in, is you will start noticing like dirty stuff everywhere. Even if it's not dirty, you'll see dirt. Like it's kind of bizarre, at least that's how it is with me, where I have to have my place completely perfect, because that will distract me. So, you obviously get ready, make sure you have everything, because a shroom trip like that can last for, I don't know, like 8 hours. It does, you can never really know depending on like the source you're getting it from. So I remember actually this time it was almost unintentional how much I took psilocybin. It was almost unintentional, because when I got the shrooms originally, me and my friends were taking them, and we're just like fucking around, like going out, walking around, being goofy. That stuff's really fun too, don't get me wrong, that's really fun. And I have other stories like that. But I really wanted something more than just that. I wanted like that insight that Terrence McKenna talks about. And so I was like, I had this bag of like the rest of whatever I had from me and my friends, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna take the rest. And it was like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen shrooms, but like, if you get it from someone, it's like a shroom, it's like the head, and then like the stems are all at the end. So this particular bag that I had, like what was left for whatever reason from what me and my friends did was like all the stems. So I'm like, my dumbass thought that like that was not going to be enough or whatever. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to eat all these stems. I know it sounds disgusting, but so I'm like, I'm going to whatever, right? And so I eat them. I like chase it with Gatorade. It's disgusting, and then I'm like, all right, I'm done, right? And then, by the way, one time me and my friend actually, she hated the taste, so she's like, we should like make smoothies out of it. And we did that. It literally did nothing. Like we didn't even experience the shrooms, so that was a complete waste. So yeah, anyways, continuing on. So I ate the stems. There was like some caps still, but it was like whatever was left in the bag. And I'm like, all right. I put on some music. I put on like some Pink Floyd or something. I love Pink Floyd. I put on some Pink Floyd. I'm just kind of chilling. I got the lights dim. I've got like some candles on. I've got like some, you know, nice ambient lighting going on. I'm just chilling, you know. And a lot of times, especially with psychedelics, they will not kick in for a while. So keep that in mind, because just keep that in mind. So I was just chilling. I'm like, nothing's happening, right? That's usually what happens. Nothing's happening. And then I remember in my living room, I have this like thing on the wall. It's kind of like this, I don't know what you would call it. It's kind of like a sconce. It's like a light, right? It's got like leaves coming off of it. And I just remember staring at that, and as the shrooms were kicking in like hardcore, I was like looking at that light thing, and it was like literally like glowing so bright. When as I was looking at it, it was like freaking me out, because it was literally like so bright. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so weird. And I just remember like thinking to myself, this is so weird, like what is happening? And I'm just like staring at that light, right? I'm just staring at it. And I continue to stare at the light, and all of a sudden, I'm not even joking, and you guys might not believe me, but I'm telling you the truth. It's like I came out of my body, and I was like talking to this God figure, okay? This God figure. It wasn't like a person or anything distinguishable that I could see. It wasn't like a physical form at all. It was like light. It was like bright light. That's what it was. And I don't know if I started asking him questions, but I remember like having questions, and I think I was like communicating like subconsciously to this being, to this God being. And I kept like thinking in my mind, like, am I on the right path in life? Am I doing what's right? Or am I messing up? Am I fucking up here? What am I doing wrong? Because I remember having so many questions at that time. I was searching for so many answers of why were people being so negative towards me everywhere, and like why was I having these problems with people that I didn't understand. And I remember like asking this God being, like, what's wrong with me? Why am I having these issues and stuff? And the God being literally told me, you're on the right path. You're always on the right path. And then I said, what do you mean? I remember like arguing or like saying like, how am I on the right path when I'm getting all this negativity? And at that one particular point, there was one specific person that like I was working with that was giving me so much problems, like literally like draining my energy to the point where I was always even thinking about this person. I was like, even when I was away from work, I was still thinking about this person, like why does this person do this? Why does this person hate me and all this stuff? And the God being literally told me that his soul is lost. His soul is lost. Just have compassion. And that's the message that I got. And then I basically like woke up to my consciousness again, or my body again after that. Because that was like, it was like almost like I got teleported. Like think of any video game where you go through a portal and like meet this God being or something, right? So it was kind of like that. And then after that situation, I came back, I was laying on the couch, just thinking about life, thinking about all of my experiences and everything. And it was like, no joke, like any question I had got like immediately answered with wisdom, pure wisdom. You know, like sometimes we can think we have wisdom, but it was like pure wisdom. Like I would think of a problem or think of a question and I would have it answered immediately with wisdom. Like not like to fight with that person, but almost like just relax. It's not something you need to worry about. That person is lost. That person is on his or her own path. You know, it's not your responsibility to fix this person, you know, and that was a really calming experience, you know. That was a lot of questions got answered that I needed. And then this is probably the worst part of any psychedelic trip, is as I was coming down, because you know, you can't really sleep on that. You're like your mind is like thinking. And so as you're coming down from something like that, this is what I experienced. It was bizarre. It was like me coming back into the earth, into reality. But instead of being like fully at peace like I was on that trip, it was like literally the more I came into earth, it felt like all my life problems were like manifesting. Like all these problems upon problems upon problems were reintroduced into my life. So what that tells me is that the spiritual realm does not have these common everyday problems the way that we experience in everyday life. Okay? There was nothing scary about that shroom trip. Actually, I've never had a bad shroom trip, but there were a lot of things that got answered for me. Have you guys ever experienced anything like this? Tell me about your experiences. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.